Do you ever have those moments when you think, me and my big mouth? Well, I'm having one of them right now. 12 months ago, I said to Kenny McLeod, one of the Scottish Mini drivers, that these cars look like a lot of fun to drive. So he said, why don't you give it a go? So here I am with my car, and it's about 5 years since I sat in a racing car. So I thought I'd get a few tips from a bloke who should know his way around the circuit. Gordon, what have I got myself in for?
I'm more worried about what I've got myself in for sitting next to you. But, I'm sure you're going to have lots of fun. The Mini, the Scottish Mini Cooper Series is great fun. You're going to have 24 nutters all around about you, looking for the same bit of tarmac that you're on.
That's really reassuring.
Well, they're on the tarmac. You're used to a bit of rallying, so if you've got to take to the grass and the gravel to pass them, I'm sure you won't be afraid. You'll be fine.
I think I'd need to learn the ropes a bit. Do you want to show me the way around?
I can show you everything I know, and we'll see if it's of any use to you or not. So, let's jump in and let's see how well we can go.
Let's give it a go.
Perfect. Happy enough?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll head out for a couple laps to start with, just to try and get yourself a little bit familiar with where the circuit goes. 9 corners in 1.3 miles, there's a lot going on. Thinking ahead into turn 1, see that curve, stay in the middle, and then work hard through the left, more. A light brake before the corner, and then power through the corner, power all the way through, there you go. Hey, you're even sliding about. I know you like a bit of rallying, but you can stick on the black stuff, that'd be really, really good.
I like your little circuit.
It's great, isn't it?
Nice.
Turns, and then power. On you go, on you go, on you go, all of it. Good, well done. Oh, pole position then, easy.
That's good fun, actually. What do you reckon?
It's good. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine at that. No problem.
So that's qualifying done. Slightly frustrating, actually, because I was about a second slower than I was in practice yesterday. But hey-ho, it is what it is. And I guess that means that come the race, the only way is forwards.
Reigning champion David Slater gets away from pole position in car number 1. We're keeping our eyes peeled for Lou at the back of the field, the GPA Grand Prix Adventures car, the black and gold livery. Sideways moment there for Alan Waugh in 14 and slowly goes off. I think he'll rejoin, but so far it looks like good progress for Lou. Off as well is Guy Johnston. So David Slade doing what he's done so well this season, leading this one from his teammate Kenny Brewster in 3rd place. There's Louise Goodman at the moment, I think, running 3rd place in the Ladies' Championship, has moved ahead of a couple of cars already. So Louise doing well. Look at the climb that these cars have to go through. Clark curve onto his lots now. Oh, and Lou's got a moment on the gravel. Looks like there might have been a wee bit of contact there because Josh Baird's gone off as well. So Lou finds herself a lap down behind the race leader David Slade. So Lou back on the racetrack, and all being well, will hopefully finish. Hats off to you, Lou. That's good driving. That'll come out of the insurance excess for sure. But there is the checker flag. David Slade takes win number 10 of the 2012 season. Oh, there is Louise, though. She's got the car home to the finish. A great drive in very difficult conditions.
So my racing comeback is over, although that's not exactly what I'd call a race. That was more a case of getting it home in one piece, or not quite in one piece, the case may be. But anyway, hopefully Kenny can do a better job when he takes it out tomorrow. At least I'm still smiling, though.
Well done, Lou. Well, I'll tell you what, Kenny's a very tough benchmark because he's had a couple of rounds away and he's still in the top 10 in the championship. There is Kenny, the man himself. Does a lot of good work for charity, Simon, does Kenny?
He does indeed.
Children's Hospice Association of Scotland, you can see livery on the car there.
Yeah, Grand Prix Adventures and MMC Broking also supporting that car this weekend, so all back in one piece now, nice and shiny. And Celtic Speed been such brilliant support of the championship, Tommy Dreelan and all the guys there, really making sure that this is clearly one of the highest profile series in the country, and the racing is just superb, isn't it, Rich?
There's some really good drivers in it, and I'm lucky enough to follow it round by round here at Knockhill. Let's take a look at the grid then for round 18 of the championship. Pole position going to the man who could sew it up here. No, it isn't. Hamish Brandon on pole. I was thinking David Slade, but it's Brandon on the reverse grid. Hamish Brandon on pole. George Orr alongside. Then Kenny Brewster and Malcolm McNabb. Yesterday's race winner, of course, if it was race winner on pole, David Slade on the inside of row 3. Then Steve Brewster on his outside. Row 4, Ross Wiley and Kyle Reid. Steve Clark and Murray Muir on row 5. Then Chris Reed and Lewis Grant completing the 6th row of the grid. Then it's Shane Stoney with Alan Walker alongside, Elaine Marshall, the ladies' championship leader, Danny Dreeland next to her, then Fiona Wallace and Scott McKenzie, row 9, row 10 Will Smith and John Finlayson, Emma Bruce and Josh Baird on row 11, row 12 Mikey Falconer and Steph McMurdo were into the drivers that had DNFs yesterday. Guy Johnston, DNF, and Kenny McLeod didn't race yesterday, but he starts off the back of the grid, obviously taking over the car that you saw Louise drive. Louise in 51 yesterday, Kenny in his traditional number 5. And as we mentioned, a driver to watch because normally will finish in the top 10, still 9th in the championship coming into this meeting.
Yeah, Brewster's both been very, very strong. When we saw them with us at Croft, of course, right at the front of the grid, didn't quite go as well to plan. There you see the very distinctive black Apex Tubulars car of Lewis Grant, young man who's really making some good progress this year, and spoke with his dad over the weekend, and he's really enjoying it, being back on the British Touring Car package, as of course they were when we saw them at Croft a little while ago. On board with Kenny once again. Got some work to do. I'm going to enjoy watching and see how he gets on.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. It's Guy Johnson in front of him. Nice to see Guy racing back with us in the championship. But this is a reverse grid. The Mini is exactly like a Mini Touring Car Championship. Normally 3 races per meeting, just 2 this weekend. And the first one's off qualifying, second one's off the result of race 1. Third race, again, the result of race 2, but reverse grid like the touring cars, they draw for it. Hamish Brandon, he's always getting front rows. There he is in the Panda car. And he seems to make a habit, particularly when the cameras are on him, and particularly the ITV cameras, of being on the front row of the grid. Alongside him is George Orr, who you might remember making his debut with us at Croft. He normally races in the Scottish Fiesta Championship, and he's on the front row too. Round 18 of the championship about to get underway. Lights on. Well, I'll tell you, the drivers in the holding area, nervous to be racing in front of their home crowd. Looks like a great start from George Orr. The prediction from the rest of the paddock was that George might just get Hamish off the line, but Hamish slots into second position. Kenny Brewster in third. Malcolm McNabb in car number 4, presently the only driver who can deny David Slade the title today.
Oh, someone across the grass early. Who was that, Richard? That was a pretty spectacular ride, wasn't it?
Yeah, Murray Muir going across the grass there, but it's George Orr that leads. Hamish Brandon in second position. Through they go, and sideways.
Big spin.
Sideways there for Chris Reed, car number 29. He will recover from that. Look at all the fluid that was down the previous race. That's all been soaked up. Alan Walker in 14 going well, and 89. That's for the car that won on Saturday at Croft. That's the car of Carl Bradley. Sold it to Shane Stoney, the ex-Saxmax racer. Races in the National Mini Championship. And
contact!
Yep, contact
into turn 1, and I think
Steve Brewster going up
Brewster
the inside.
Boys are on it, aren't they?
Steve Brewster in yellow, up into third place. Keep your eyes on Malcolm McNabb in car number 4. He's back in 5th place. David Slay in 6th. Now, David Slay's brother Tim is the only man technically that can beat him in the championship, but Tim wrote his car off at the last Scottish Motor Racing Club meeting here at Knockhill, and he told me he's not going to race anymore this year. If that's the case, and if David Slay takes 4 points in this race, then he will secure the championship on the basis that Tim's not going to race. He'll be provisional champion. So we need to keep our eyes on car number 1, the ex-Scottish XR2 champion, reigning champion in the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup as well. And it looks like he's going to go for a double championship. So he could do it today, but at the moment, Steve Brewster putting the pressure on the second place car of Hamish Brandon. So Brandon will be trying to challenge George Orr, as we said. George pretty much used to racing front-wheel drive in the Fiesta STs, the new class of Fiesta that's racing up here in the domestic races. But he's equally at home, whether it's a Fiesta or a Mini, and he's getting away at the moment just a little bit from Brandon, who goes slightly defensive. First part of the entrance into the hairpin, hangs on to second position. But Kenny Brewster's having it. Steve Brewster, rather, in third place, is really piling the pressure on, Simon.
Yeah, looks really strong out of the hairpin. Both Stephen and Kenny Brewster in the Shepherd cars looking very, very strong in terms of traction. They've clearly worked on that, as it's so crucial here on board with Kenny. And he's right alongside Stefan Burdo. He's got a great drive on the outside, and he's even potentially got enough momentum Guy Johnston to get through.
Stefan Burdo won the ladies' championship class at the last round here. She had a non-finish yesterday, sadly, but she has got the capacity, the ability to win in the ladies' class. There is Guy Johnston in 22, just in front of Kenny McLeod at the moment. Kenny will be thinking about looking down the inside at Scotsman corner. Tries to sneak through on the inside. Was there a bit of a rub there?
I think there was, but to be fair to Kenny, I think he backed out of it, to be fair. And another spectacular moment. It's going off all over the place. Stefan Burdo, she in the Castlebrae car. It doesn't look like she's picked up any damage now. Was there contact, I wonder? Now, is that...
There's Steph around the outside in the blue car, the two-tone blue. Bit of a clatter
Yeah,
from Chris Reed.
Reed and Falconer.
Mikey Falconer gets...
she gets a bit of a tank snapper on. That's what it is. He just flicked it one way, then the other way. So she didn't actually go off at the chicane at all. She went off on the approach to it because of the contact there now. At the front, Murdoch, or Brandon and Brewster looking very, very equal in terms of lap times.
Surprised to see David Slade back in 6th position. He'd love to get a win on live TV here, and he's chasing down his teammate in front. The number 4 car you can see there, Malcolm McNabb, who won our live race at Croft. And that was his first ever race win. He's been picking up podia ever since then, and he's 3rd in the championship at the moment. By my points, very, very close for 3rd, 4th and 5th. At the moment, you've got Malcolm on 224, Steve Brewster on 222 points, and Kyle Reid on 221 points, having taken 2 wins. But the challenge is on for 2nd. And look at Steve Brewster having a go outside line here on Hamish Brandon, the man from Hoyk on the inside. But can the 19 car Hoyk his way around the outside? Yes, he can. He's through. Again, he's been mugged by both Brewsters.
He's been Brewstered. Well, truly there, haven't you? That was a brilliant bit of... It's almost like a bit of brotherly telepathy went on there, wasn't it? They managed to find a way around the outside.
And Brewster's trying to squeeze through on the inside into the lead past George Orr, who's got it at the moment. Side by side they go. Brewster's going to try and squeeze through up from 3rd. And has he got the lead? George Orr has a quick look across. And he's seeded it. No, he hasn't. He's into the side of it. They're side by side, down Duffers.
Got the line, though.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Into Scotsman corner.
But, is he going to give him enough racing room? Surely Brewster can hang on. A fair play to Orr.
Great driving.
He fought so hard to hang on to the lead there.
The Bruce Taxis machine forces his way back into the lead. Terrific stuff from the Minis, as ever, that we see here. This is entry-level motorsport, but there are some very talented, quick, young men and women in this formula. Look at David Slade. Still trying to come through as well. Up to 4th, fastest man on track. Shane Stoney, 63.691 from 13th on the grid. Had a problem with a fuse yesterday. We're expecting him to carve his way through the field, and he hasn't done it. But look at David Slade looking for 4th place now. Brandon grabs the line from him. Slade, I don't think, thought he was going to come across. Steve Clark in green goes up the inside, and then Ross Wiley in blue and white. Ross Wiley, who's looking at the Porsche Carrera Cup next year, he's in the mix as well, one of the top newcomers. Incidentally, while we're talking about new drivers this year, the top first-year driver is car number 4, Malcolm McNabb. He leads the Newcomers Championship.
I love the way Orr was looking across at Bruce like that. It's almost like, hello, mate, how are you? It's brilliant. But he's done it this time. Brewster, can he hang on to it? Slade, I think, he's trying to get down the inside of Kenny Brewster, and he's done that as well. So Kenny must have got round the outside of that move. George, sticking with it. A bit of more contact now. Bit of a whack from behind now. Is Steve Brewster going to hang on to it? What a fantastic bit of car control.
I was just about to say how fair and gently the racing was, but then they get into a little bit of contact, which is good. So there is Malcolm McNabb up to 3rd place, David Slade 4th, Stephen Brewster in 5th place. A little bit of rallycross going on there as they kick up the dirt on the exit of Carloop. Now down through the Hislop's, and this is very typical Mini Cooper action. Feel free to come up and watch it any time at Knockhill. Down into Real Radio they come. Get your eyes on David Slade picking them off one by one. Champion, possibly elect, back in 4th place. He only needs 4 points if his brother doesn't race again this year. And Tim Hamish Brandon getting into it.
Yeah, Wiley got a really good move down the inside. Then I think everyone just kind of fell over each other. There's Lewis Grant in the background.
Yeah,
He's made some good progress as well from 12th on the grid. And outstanding performance by him as well. The Apex Tubular cars looking good, but the Celtic Speed Mini Coopers are giving us some proper racing. And oh my goodness me, well, we're inventing some new circuits here. I know you can go the other way round Knockhill now.
Kyle Reid rejoined in front of Shane Stoney. There is the lap record holder, the white car with the red and blue checks on. He's the man with the fastest lap, cutting his way through the field. Stoney on the last lap from 13th up to 7th. He's behind Kyle Reid, the white car with the green wing mirrors. So Shane Stoney coming up. Here they are. So there is Reid. 2 race wins for him this year in his first year. Sensational results for him earlier on in the season. And Shane Stoney, this is only his 4th Scottish Mini Cooper Cup meet. He got on the podium, sorry, his 3rd meet. He got on the podium in his 2nd one. Incredible driving from the youngster. And Joe Tanner, the circuit commentator, said, "You don't look old enough to drive these, Shane."
Well, I remember Shane only, I think, back in 2009, racing in Jetta Juniors. Did a part season there, and was a very, very promising young driver there. And he seems to have really built on that experience and in the others formulas that he's been racing. And now, and Brewster get away. He seems at certain bits of the circuit he's got a little bit of an advantage overall, but Orr is super aggressive. And I've got to say, I think for me at the moment, Stephen Brewster has had to save the day. There should be some Scottish goalkeepers that can save as well as him. That was absolutely outstanding.
Controversial. We've got black and white flag for the first two drivers, actually, George Orr and Steve Brewster. So driving standards, they're having a very close look at these guys. But this is entertainment, this is car racing, this is the route possibly to touring cars. There's Malcolm McNabb now all over the back of the red car of George Orr to try and take second place. Kenny Brewster down behind them, and David Slade trying to pick his line and go through past the second of the Brewsters. Keep your eyes on the Silver One car, the Athena Asset Management back car. They've got a lot of guests here today enjoying themselves, and the two Team Slade teammates trying to work together, and down the inside off goes car number 30, Will Smith. Disappointment for Will. Back we go though, Steve Brewster still there, George Orr settled down at the front, David Slade comes out of the slipstream. He's going to be trying to get past Malcolm McNabb, his teammate. There won't be any team orders, but David Slade will want to go out on a big high here. Well, not go out because he's going to do the other rounds, but he'll want to secure the championship. As we said, his brother could technically still come back and race, but it means that he would have to take maximum points, fastest lap race wins, in order to deprive David of the championship after today.
So let's have a look and see what happens in the background now.
Oh, Kenny
getting into a little bit of a tag, and then somebody else whacking into the back of the 30 car of Will Smith. Quite catch who that was. Who do you think that was, Richard? I saw
a 24, but I thought Lewis Grant was further up than that. So
I'm not sure about this. Is of course played into the hands of Stephen Brewster, who's been able to drive his own race for a few laps now, and he's using that pace just to get his head down and work himself away from the squabble that's going on behind. That's clearly not settled yet. As down the inside. Oh, just
John
cut away.
Oh, no. John Finlayson's out of the race. Hard line to Johnny. Had a disappointment. And that's Orr getting it all sideways. And Malcolm McNabb's up to second. Kenny Brewster up to third. David Slade down behind them. Then we've got Kyle Reid coming up as well. Kyle Reid challenging the championship leader. Kyle Reid, beg your pardon, Ross Wiley sixth in the championship. Kyle Reid in the pack behind them. So too is Shane Stoney, as George Orr just about hangs onto it at the moment by the skin of his teeth. We're looking at Malcolm McNabb going out of shot. Look at David Slade. He's got pressure now on him from Ross Wiley. Ross, first-year driver, 20-year-old, ex-Carter. Some might say he's left it a little bit later than some drivers to come into saloon car racing, but that's made no difference at all. He's come in, he's been really quick, he's been a good, mature young driver, and he's doing so well in his first season.
Yeah, and it's all starting to get very frantic, isn't it? All of these guys seem to be able to lap at a similar sort of pace, a bit of understeer and then a bit of oversteer for all that time. You managed to find a bit of everything going on there, was it? Reid looking like he's ready to go forwards as well. But now look at Kenny Brewster. He's got momentum. He's benefited from that oversteering moment, and he's just sliced through, and he can get his head down and set after McNabb now.
Yeah, the key thing for McNabb is, has he got enough pace to close down on Steve Brewster? I think probably in the last couple of rounds we've said that he has done, but let's see. He cleared traffic. They're coming up across the line now. Brewster's last time. Look at that. McNabb responds. His fastest personal lap of the race, 64.1. So he's pulled a 10th out of Steve Brewster. Still doable before the end of the race, but a lot of work to do as Orr comes under pressure from Kenny Brewster. David Slade in the mix as well. Slade's got his wipers on and through on the inside of Brewster. He's got to pick off Orr next to try and get onto the podium. We used to see David Slade on the podium, but Kenny Brewster repays the favour. Back down the inside past the Team Slade racing car, who's now got Ross Wiley all over his rear end.
And Orr again very, very sideways. He seems to really be struggling with this balance of his car at the moment. Either that or he's just overdriving it. As look, Wiley down the inside of Slade. And has he managed to make that one stick? He's certainly got the inside line for the hairpin. We've seen how inventive Slade can be. Behind that Reid. And Shane's got momentum with Stoney.
Yeah, Shane Stoney, as we said, the car that was built by Carl Bradley specifically for the Croft meeting. Carl Stoney, look at this! Contact! A little bit of door handling as they come along the straight. David Slade gets hung out to drive from Kyle Reid. Shane Stoney goes up the inside. I said to Shane I'd get his name wrong, and this one I did. Here they come up the hill, and it's Brewster, Kenny Brewster, who leads this pack. It's still Malcolm McNabb out front. Was he faster on the last lap?
No,
yes,
Steve Brewster out front, isn't it? McNabb in second with Kenny third.
No, I mean Kenny in front of this group, but Steve Brewster out front. I was looking at the time from McNabb again, slightly quicker in Team Slade Racing. He's flying the flag for them. David Slade down the escape road and really frustrated at the moment. The champion-elect, he is going to, as I say, provisionally wrap up the championship with his position here. He only needed to grab 4 points, and he's going to easily do that as we look at Kenny Brewster in third. The Brewster boys first and third with Team Slade Racing. Shane Stoney
off. Stoney in the stone.
He was.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they're all trying.
They know where to look, Richard. This is just fabulous racing. This is the best racing we've seen all day, isn't it?
Absolutely right. You know, a lot of there are drivers that will actually fly up to Scotland from southern England to race at weekends, and you can see why, because this is the standard of racing in all the Scottish formula, the domestic formula. As we look at Kyle Reid down the inside line of David Slay, and David are way back at the moment, but Steve Brewster still from Malcolm McNabb. The gap was 2 seconds on the last lap. It's still 2 seconds. Steve Brewster, for my money, is doing enough to hang on to this. Malcolm McNabb, look at the damage of wing mirror sticking up there, evidence of some good tough physical action. Kenny Brewster third, George Orr still in fourth. I'm wondering what happened to Hamish Brandon. Pole position race back in 12th, Hamish Brandon, down behind Lewis Grant. So behind this great big massive gaggle of cars. So Shane Stoney, can he make any more? Still the fastest man on track. The 89 car. Oh dear, oh dear. Off goes Scott McKenzie in 28. Can't see a number on the one that's in the tyres.
That's Kenny.
Don't think it was Kenny who was in. What was it down behind? The 28
is this
car
going to happen? Oh, this is coming out, isn't it? Oh. Comes back across. Oh, Reid getting whacked very hard. There's nothing he can do about that.
No,
totally innocent.
Not. So it's disappointing for Scott and Chris. They find themselves out of the race, and well, they've had a little bit of coverage, not the sort of coverage they wanted. As Steve Brewster now on the penultimate lap of the race, he's well clear, and superb running for the number 19 car.
Just wondered that maybe we might see a red flag, because we saw a similar situation at the end of the Porsche race that we had earlier in the day, where Slay is under more pressure from Wiley that keeps changing that position. That's actually now officially the Slay line.
It's like it's the Slay line, isn't it? It's almost like the Joker lap in Rallycross.
It's exactly. Well, that lap over here as well. I was involved in that lap here. Look at that move down. Stoney's going to get Slay as well at this rate, I think.
Yeah, Shane Stoney. He's coming back to the championship next year. Talking to Shane.
No, he does that.
And, well, no, he won't for that. And his dad, Chris, they love this championship to bits, and they want some more of it next year coming up from Yorkshire. And they're enjoying their racing here, getting some excellent coverage. But we're back with Ross Wiley. He's running in fifth position at the moment behind George Orr. There is George Orr, currently in fourth place, the red number 28 car. But Steve Brewster looking for his second race win of the year. No stranger to the podium, or indeed the top step of the podium. And look at that, he's driven a superb race in that yellow car. Here's the moment again, the onboard from Kenny McLeod.
Well, so he's very late on the brakes, round the outside, trying to get a position there. Now, this is where the contact comes. And as McKenzie gets flicked back the other way, where he's trying to lean on Kenny, that's when he bounced back across, and the big impact was made.
Scott McKenzie off to San Francisco. He hasn't got the flowers in his hair though. Here's the guy who's going to have the garland at the end of the day. Number 19, Steve Brewster, still out front from Malcolm McNabb. Kenny Brewster in third place, and Stephen Brewster has made this look pretty easy today. It's been a superb job though for this young man. There he comes then, out through.
Well, this is going to mean an awful lot to the Brewster boys, because obviously not only are they live on ITV4, but also they're going to be doing this in front of all their friends and family. A lot of people here from Shepherd, Dad's company, and of course George Brewster, their dad, will be hugely proud, and rightly so. A superb drive.
There he goes across the line. Steve Brewster takes his second race win of the year in the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup. Second place will go to Malcolm McNabb, who's under pressure from Kenny Brewster. Kenny got closer in the closing stages, but it's a podium for McNabb and Brewster. Fourth, George Orr, great drive. Ross Wiley, then Kyle Reid, David Slay, provisional champion. As I said, his brother can still come out and race. Here comes Kenny McLeod in the machine that Louise Goodman so enjoyed herself so thoroughly over the last couple of days. In Kenny's turn today, and Kenny McLeod chasing Danny Dreelan in car number 13. Danny comes home, a good finish for Danny Dreelan, I think in 13th place. Let's just have a look. Alan walks ahead for 14th, Danny Dreelan 15th, Kenny McLeod from the back into 16th. Simon, this is a super little formula.
Oh wow, that was brilliant. Absolutely loved every second of that. Well done to Stephen Brewster for coming through unscathed, and then when he got his break, he made the most of it. He got his head down, drove a beautifully precise race. Shows that it doesn't have to be all crash bang wallop. He's just executed that beautifully. Fair play to everyone. That was about as good as it gets in terms of motor race. Somebody say motor racing can be processional, not in the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cup.
Absolutely right. Celtic Speed, this is their second season with it. A massive thanks to them for being involved with the championship. And the key thing for me with the minis, bang for buck. You know, this is no motor racing is cheap, but this is so cost effective. And you saw the entertainment that this provides, not only for the drivers who love racing in it, but the many, many fans that come and watch this meeting in, meeting out. It's just such a... If there's an idea for keeping costs down, then this one, look at that.
That
there
says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely superb.
That's almost like an Olympic welcome, isn't it? The way that crowd are reacting to these boys and girls out there. Absolutely fantastic. And I think now, if my maths are correct, which they're probably not because they never usually are, but you were saying, is it 4 points that David needed realistically?
We can only call him provisional champion because it's dependent on his brother not racing the rest of the year. But, you know, Tim did say to me that he wasn't going to do it. Here's confirmation of the results. Steve Brewster takes his second win of the year. Malcolm McNabb on the podium again and leads the Newcomers Championship. Kenny Brewster third from George Orr. Ross Wiley fifth from Kyle Reid. And the champion-elect, David Schley, 7th. Steve Clark, 8th from Shane Stone, who got the fastest lap. Actually, no, he was pipped by Kenny Brewster to that. Then in 10th place, Murray Muir. 11th place, Lewis Grant. Then Hamish Brandon and Elaine Marshall. She wins the Ladies' Cup again, edging towards that championship. Alan Walk in 14th from Danny Treeland. Kenny McLeod with the camera car 16th, ahead of Fiona Wallace. Emma Bruce in 18th from Josh Baird and Will Smith. Steph McMurdo comes home 21st, and the finishers completed by Mikey Falconer. He'll be pleased to get a finish after a DNF yesterday. Grand stuff from the boys and girls in the Scottish Mini Cooper Cup, backed by Celtic Speed and Steve Brewster. An absolutely superb win for him, and he's going to be chatting, of course, to Louise Goodman, who will know all about what he's just been through, albeit Louise did it yesterday in the rain. Down to you, Lou.
If only I did it as well as Sir Steve's just done it. Fantastic race, fantastic result, and you really, it looked like you had that one really nicely under control.
Yeah, it was more than just difficult at the start, but once I managed to get away, it was okay. Yeah, Malcolm had a good pace behind me, but actually, after a while, I think he just sort of thought second will do for him, but, you know, he was catching me, but yeah, excellent, so happy.
Great result for the family, where you're getting the congratulations from your brother there. There was a nice little kind of manoeuvre at one point with both of you going round either side of somebody else at the chicane.
I can't even remember that, honestly. It was all just happening so fast. And but yeah, I never shared the podium with my brother before, so happy about that.
It is very close, fast racing, isn't it? There's a lot going on. You really have to have your wits about you when you're in these cars.
Absolutely, everyone's so tight. There's so much going on at the same time. You know, it's trying to look everywhere, and it's hard to do that. So, but great result.
Good stuff. Well done. You enjoyed that moment on the podium. Malcolm, well done. Congratulations on your second place. Happy with that one?
Yeah, it was intense. It was pretty wild out there. I was behind George and Stephen for a while, so I got front row seats for their little get together through the chicane, and I was actually backing out going, wow, this is going to be big. So I backed off, eventually got past George. Stephen had pulled a gap on me, and I did try and reel him in, but started making mistakes, and I was just going to end up binning it, and seconds better than nothing.
So at that point you decided, well, let's just calm down here and settle with what I've got.
Be sensible, just looked at Kenny in my mirror and kept a sensible gap.
Were you quite confident that you could keep him behind, because he was making up ground on you by the end, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I was just after I had a bit of a wonder at McIntyre's, and after that the car had a bit of a vibration, so I wasn't pushing it as hard as I possibly could have. I was just keeping an eye on my mirror and making sure he didn't catch up to me.
Good stuff. Well, you managed to keep him behind, but you still got that third place, so well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, quite happy with that. So I've not been in the cars in a while, and you forget how hectic it is out there, sort of thing. So it's just a case of keeping sharp all the time, but it was good fun, really good.
Well, you made it look pretty easy, I have to say. They are lovely little cars to drive, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good fun, and you can certainly push them about a bit. So no, the first half of the race was just about trying to keep a gap and let Stephen have a crack at the guys in front, because I'm not in the championship, he is, so that's where we were for a bit. Got caught behind them all, and it was a case of coming back through again once I saw him getting a gap. So as I say, by that time Malcolm was well down the road, so I just couldn't quite get there in the end, but more than happy with it.
How difficult is it? Because there are a lot of cars out there. How difficult is it having eyes in the front and the back of your head and trying to see what's going on all around you?
Yeah, it's just everywhere. So it is, and it's more about that than anything else. You know, you kind of need to know where everyone else is, because there's cars coming everywhere, and it's quite easy to put them off if you catch them in the wrong places. So just delighted to keep it in one piece.
You've got to have faith in the guys around you as well, really, haven't you?
Absolutely, and it's getting pretty good now. The standards are getting there. I mean, there's a bit of contact at times, but all in all, I think most of the guys in the front finished, and it's nice to see that.
And it's nice that for the first time, I understand, you're going to be sharing a podium with your brother.
Yeah, it's the first time, yeah. So as I say, I've not been in the podium too many times myself anyway, so it's just nice to have two in one weekend.
Good stuff. Well done. Well, and thank you for letting me come along and play with you this weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, we've got some Porsche action coming up very shortly, so make sure you come back and join us in just a few minutes. We'll be back with all of that after this short break.